Whatever your plans are, this coming Monday, July 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, just cancel them. Okay. I don't care what you guys are doing. You cannot afford to miss this upcoming free boot camp that AJ Gundel and myself are putting together. AJ is the gentleman you see on your screen right here. AJ is a 13 Emmy Award winning songwriter, producer, and he's also the CEO of Future Hits. AJ's credits spanning multiple decades include ABC, NBC, Sony, CBS, Nintendo, HBO, Nike, Fox, and many, 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 many more. AJ is obviously a master when it comes to understanding how to craft songs that are specifically licensable and useful for TV and film clients. If you guys have been following my channel at all recently, you should know, and if you don't know, you'll know now, adding vocals to your songs is becoming a must-have skill that you need to take seriously, especially with the advent of AI technology coming on board and potentially becoming something we have to compete with and be aware of, right? So please, whatever you do, just click on that link in that description box below as you're seeing this video and just put your email address in and I will send you these Zoom links. It's going to be 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, this coming July 15th, 16th, and 17th, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time each day. Absolutely free. These are going to be Zoom calls where you can jump on board and learn from somebody who's done really, really well in this business how to ensure that your sync tracks add vocals to them and in a way that is marketable and licensable. What we do with TV and film music is sometimes similar to pop music, public-facing music that you guys might have on Spotify, but in many ways we have some specific needs and some specific considerations that we need to keep in mind to ensure that we're not just wasting our time and wasting our clients' time, but that we're actually giving them something that's extremely marketable and licensable. So that is the 60-second pitch for why you guys should join us. So now we're going to get into some of the details as to why adding vocals to your music can make your tracks become much more valuable and why it's definitely worth your time. So these are 4 elements right off the top, and we'll kind of get into these really quickly. Number 1, adding vocals, basically creating full songs with your music. It's just becoming much more in demand. From every library owner I've talked to, including AJ, including many others in our Sync Connect series and many interviews we've had here on the channel, you're going to hear it more and more often that TV and film clients are looking for vocals. It's just becoming a much more in-demand thing for one reason or another. So if you're not actively serving this new demand, you are going to be basically left out of these new opportunities. Number 2, it definitely levels up your music value. If you add vocals, if you add a full song to your production now, to your tracks, you can command higher sync fees. You can command higher royalties. Many of the PROs, they are waiting tracks that have vocals, especially prominent placements, themes, jingles, featured vocals, all that kind of stuff, usually generally are going to get higher royalties. So you're basically missing out on higher potential placement opportunities by not putting vocals in your track. So basically making sure that you're adding more value to your music can put you in a much more profitable position. Number 3, if you just add vocals to your tracks, you're actually creating 2 assets. You're creating the track with the vocals, which is the full song, which can get placed, but you've also got the instrumental version, which you are definitely going to be sending off to your library partner. It might be an AJ or somebody else you're going to partner with. So you're essentially kind of getting double your bang for your buck. For the amount of work you're putting into your work and your music, you can basically get twice as much potential placement opportunities with your time. And number 4, as I briefly mentioned, AI is obviously becoming something that we have to be thinking about and maybe potentially competing with, or thinking about how we differentiate ourselves or AI proof ourselves. Well, adding high quality vocals that have great lyrics, great recording, great vocalists is definitely one of the smartest things you guys can all be doing to distance yourself from generic background instrumental music that may or may not be able to be generated and used by AI models in the very near future. So if that's not convincing to you, I don't know what else is going to be. So AJ, man, I'm really excited to host this with you this coming Monday. Let everybody know, why is it that you feel this is something that you feel uniquely qualified to be able to coach members on, to give us a great thorough education on, and what is it that you feel Future Hits, your company, why is it that you guys have really thrived and done well in this business as a result of focusing on music with vocals?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. Great to be here with you. Good morning to you in California from the East Coast. Well, first of all, Future Hits, right? Our brand as a production music library is focused on the song. Our slogan is the greatest songs you've never heard. So we've always been branded as a song music oriented library, and so our placements and the way our clients understand us is geared in that direction. Why we do that, I think it has to do partly with my own background, which is from the beginning as a full-time musician, singer, songwriter, guitar player, band guy, but writing songs from the get-go and getting sync licenses back even before I knew that they were called sync licenses, but getting my music placed in film and television. A lot of it was song material. And and I was finding early on that the songs were, to our points here, which we'll address one by one, generating considerably more than the instrumental versions. And I had plenty of background cues in film and TV as well, and still do. But it's the songs that generate a higher royalty from the PROs because they are scaled according to their usages. And instrumentals pay less than vocals. Okay, so there is that asset difference that you mentioned, Jesse. More and more companies are using more vocals. The clients are, and we can address that specifically as well. This the standalone instrumental is potentially half as valuable as a full song, because with a full song, you're getting the value of the vocal version as well as the instrumental stripped down, no vocal version too. Potentially twice the amount of exposure and revenue streams from the full song. And then AI too. So, let's take them one by one if you'd like, and peel the onion back a little bit farther. But those are the main reasons why I feel, and I know you feel too, that the orientation of the song as a way for music content creators like our audience are able to exploit to their advantage, and why we should encourage that and try to help them along that way.
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm curious too. It's an interesting thing where I've been hearing from multiple library CEOs in the last, I would say, 2 years, that it's vocals, vocals, vocals. Everybody's wanting more and more of it, from trailers to even reality TV shows to ad spots to, you name it. Do you have any inclinations as to why maybe there's becoming more of this need for vocal music in sync licensing? Is it just to differentiate the production quality a bit more? Is this maybe this kind of tiring out of just sort of the generic background music that people are kind of getting tired of? Do you have any inclinations as to why adding full vocals, or why these clients are really looking for full songs with their placements, or more and more of that these days?
Well, I think that, a vocal version inherently, and this may go to the question about how it's become more AI resistant too, is a little more distinctive. It tells a little bit more of a story. It can be used in a little more diverse kinds of ways. I also think the media itself, I mean, from TikTok to the network TV shows, everyone's looking for opportunities to brand their content in certain distinctive ways, and songs can do that in a cool way. Listen, watching Wimbledon and ESPN, whatever. They're always looking for cool, vibey, chart friendly, to use a buzz term, songs to sell their video montage recap kinds of things. Certainly, in that way, recaps for sports and whatnot. Always a lot of highlight reels use background stuff, but when you're talking about full up, featured things, the songs really sell better, more distinctively. And then again, to connect some dots, are going to pay more on the back end, possibly, as you said, also on the front end, for the extra value that they're bringing. Right.
Absolutely, yeah, and sounds like too, it's creating much more of a direct connection to the audience in what way they want to do that as well. So that human voice, that human storytelling through lyrics, through melody, is something that can reach through the noise, reach through the TV screen or the streaming screen, and create more of a direct emotional connection with the audience. So for sure, I think it's just more human, right? And that's definitely one of the themes that we're going to be talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the artist, the singer, as it were, sells a certain brand of their own with that is, reaching a certain demographic of its own. Drake is going to speak differently than Ed Sheeran will. So if you're looking from the client media licensor's point of view in their content and how you're trying to deliver it, you're thinking demographically. And so to the question and the answer, I think the more you can drill down to the artistic content of a vocal and a song, the more you can also sort of target how you might want to place it and basically generate audience interest. And then again, coming in from the content creator, the audience we're talking to, how do you can connect best to that when you have a vocal to pitch to.
Totally. And I want to touch on this briefly because I know a lot of people that are maybe interested in joining us this coming Monday might have pre-existing songs because they're on Spotify or they've just had them created for a long time. And it's a very common thought process. Well, hey, I just learned about sync and I've got these 10 songs or 20 songs. Maybe I can just throw them off to a production music library and have them represent them, and then maybe I can get some placements. And I have found in my reviewing probably thousands of tracks at this point, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work out, and that's because it's not that it's bad music or that it's not very compelling or really really good, but a lot of the times artist music is composed with a completely different end user in mind, right? There's a completely different usual of a reason why original artists that put music online for the general public are writing, because they really want to connect with what's going on right in here with the world, and they don't necessarily always have a marketable production company in mind as they're writing that, right? But we do have to do that if we really want to make sure that we're writing music that can be marketable and licensable. So I want everybody that is considering joining us to know that you probably don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're not asking you guys to have to relearn how to write lyrics or relearn how to, but it's more of what I've found. I want you to maybe comment on this, AJ, is kind of honing in and focusing and getting people to really think about channeling their creative talents, their writing skills, their lyric skills, singing skills, in a way that's more licensable, more marketable, and more useful for a variety of TV clients. I don't know if you can speak to a little bit about the specifics of those differences on artist music, general music for the general public, and production music with vocals. If there's a difference there you can tap into.
So, I mean, I think you're drilling down to it. If you're a recording artist and your main interest is in promoting your career as an artist, and your main interest is in getting your stuff out through DSPs and your own, and leading to your own gigs and basically promoting your career in that way, your focus is more on really self-expression. What is it about you that you want the world to understand and relate to and create a relationship with? The target audience, if you will, for sync licensing into the visual media from creators who are trying to get placements is a different mindset, where we're looking for opportunities and ways that we can land our stuff. And so we're thinking not so much about how is my career going to develop as an artist, but how can I tailor my artistic talents towards those placements? It's a different mindset, and we're clearly, you and I here are focused on the latter. I will say that it's really super important more and more, and part of the reason why songs are exploding is in sync is because the independent part of the artist, songwriter, producer, uh, contributor, creator, is basically friendly to both. If we can get a very vibey, authentic indie feel to music for sync, it's probably going to do better than someone who's and this has come up in our previous workshop, they hear that a particular library of future hits, hey, got a lot of cool hip hop. Well, let me write some hip hop for future hits, when really they're a contemporary jazz oriented saxophonist. And that lack of authenticity isn't going to sell to the production music library. It may be just something that creator shouldn't be pursuing. They should stick with the most authentic part of their own creativity. And the authentic part of that is what works in both ways. It works big time for me. When stuff comes in for future hits, I'm really looking to see if I'm feeling like what I'm hearing is what this writer, producer, artist does instinctively, instead of trying to create it, or potentially, to use a term, knock off stuff for use in sync.
So
So it's a
great
little
point.
both
So
in
glad
there.
that you brought that up because it is a fine, weird, delicate balance for, yes, not just chasing the dollars, just chasing the opportunities and sacrificing your, authenticity as a vocalist, as a creator, as a composer. But at the same time, realizing that you are here to serve, right? We're all here to serve, especially for those of us that want to consistently get more and more placements and consistent placements to turn this into, sizable income for ourselves. So it is that delicate balance where you got to stay true to what you know you're great at, to what you really provide, what your real value is, what your real identity is, and like I said before, just channel all that great energy into a direction that can make it really useful and valuable. And so that's what we're really going to talk about for this upcoming free boot camp for all of you guys that want to join us again this coming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, July 15th, 16th, and 17th, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it's going to be an hour each day. Each day, what we're going to essentially do is we're going to cover one element of the Holy Trinity, one element each day. So the Holy Trinity is something that AJ has coined in terms of these three elements that when he's writing music or when he's considering adding a new songwriter or producer to his catalog, he's always evaluating music using these three criteria, and they are song, singer, and recording. So we're not going to get into those specifics in this interview. You guys do need to join us by clicking on that link below and putting your email to get those free Zoom links if you want to learn more about them. But each one of those days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to dive into each one of those topics and find out what lyrics are better and best used for sync opportunities. What types of song topics should we be thinking about writing for? Should we be writing very specific lyrics, or should we keep our lyrics a little more broad and open for various interpretations? What styles of music tend to work better for ad spots versus reality TV versus trailers, all these kinds of considerations. What are TV and film clients looking for in terms of a vocalist or a singer? What is authentic? How would somebody evaluate whether somebody sounds authentic to their ears? And we're going to definitely ask AJ about his experience in this industry in terms of what his clients are looking for, what they've said yes to, what they've said, nah, no thanks for. And we want to make sure that we are very, very honest with ourselves about what really does pass or what doesn't pass. And of course, on the last day, we're going to talk about recording, making sure that you're hitting your final and your minimum quality recordings or quality for your recordings, for your production, for your vocals. What elements and what sort of minimum requirements do you need to be thinking about and including in your tracks and your songs when you're potentially pitching to sync licensing companies and or supervisors or anybody in this business? And we also are going to include in each one of these days actual song examples. So AJ will provide us with some great examples from his catalog, from future hits, where we can listen to and he can analyze, and he'll let you guys know exactly why these tracks are high quality hit sync songs and why you can certainly start to emulate them. Of course, not copy them, but emulate them and get inspired by them and understand exactly what elements in these tracks are really, really working well, and maybe A/B compare your tracks. If you want to take your experience even further, we are going to offer an optional additional service on Wednesday. I'll let you guys know about it, where you can actually get some personalized feedback from AJ, and it'll also kind of double up as a pitching session as well. So if you find AJ's presentation throughout the 3 days really, really valuable and useful, and you'd like to basically have him review your songs on some private Zoom calls, we're actually going to offer that to those of you that join us as an option. You don't have to do it, of course, but it'll be an optional service that you can sign up for on the Wednesday, on the final day. So AJ, again, taking up too much time here with our interview. Sorry about that, but I really do appreciate you joining us for this thing. I have been personally, obviously excited, really passionate about songwriting myself for most of my career. Didn't do much of it in my sync licensing career. I just really focused on the instrumental thing, but I'm really focused and excited and encouraged to kind of get back into it now. So I'm selfishly just going to be taking my own personal notes through all of our sessions next week. So I know it's going to be very insightful and very valuable. And you guys do need to show up live each day to get the value and to get the actual content and the insights you're going to learn from AJ. So any final insights or any sort of words of wisdom you can leave us with, AJ, today before we say goodbye?
Yeah, and thanks for that question as well as for this session today. Is great. I'm really looking forward to next week, as well as hopefully the after critique sessions we're trying to queue up as well. We'll get into the real specifics of the Holy Trinity on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Just generally, I want to say as a bit of a teaser here too. We're talking about the world of pre-cleared, easy for me to say, music for sync, right? And that means basically, to describe it in the specifics there, it's the all-in song and master one-stop shop that gets delivered either to a music library or to a user client, music supervisor, or what have you, for licensing. And if all three things aren't there, pre-cleared, it's not likely to land. And we'll get into the specifics of that when we talk next week. But the Holy Trinity sort of talks about it in a cliched kind of way, the fact that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. When your stuff lands in my inbox or in the music supervisor for the new next Netflix show, it has to be, and here's a big word I know for you and for others, it came up a lot at Sync Up, undeniable. We want that undeniability across the board, song, singer, and record. If it's not there, it's probably not going to land. If it is there, it has the chance. So that's what we're looking for in the Holy Trinity. And that's why we'll peel all out those layers of the onion back with each for the song, the singer, the record on almost 3 dates to get a sense of how we can really maximize our pre-clearance opportunities to get some sync placements with songs.
Absolutely. And if any of those terms are vague for you guys, that's another reason why you need to join us next week, because we'll definitely make sure that all of this is clear for all of you, so that you're fully prepared. And I absolutely will end this on that word as well, undeniable. You do basically get one shot at really impressing a sync licensing production music library, a supervisor, anybody in this industry where you really want to make sure that you forge ahead with your strongest presentation. And this boot camp can certainly help prepare you for that, to make sure that you are doing everything you possibly can, controlling every variable that you can control. A lot of this is out of our control, but there are a lot of things you certainly can control to have that first impression be very strong and undeniable. So again, it's absolutely free. I want all of you guys to join us. You can click on the link below. All you got to do is put in your email address. You will immediately be sent 3 Zoom links. It's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, July 15th, 16th, and 17th, 9 a.m. Pacific time each day. It'll last about an hour. Maybe we'll go a little longer, but you guys also will get access to ask your questions after our presentation. I'll be facilitating the sessions, but it's really going to be more AJ hosting it and really giving you guys his valuable insights after multiple decades of really doing well in this business. So I'm excited. I can't wait to have you guys join us for our really, I think it's going to be a game-changing boot camp that we've never offered before. So do not kick yourself and don't regret missing out on this one. Make sure you do put your email in that box and click on that link right below.